something happens, whether it's a past situation that's happened from our childhood, or we have an instance that triggers us, and then we look at someone else outside of us being the problem and the reason for our pain. Hello and welcome to Uncovered, the podcast with your host, Jason Irving. Join me in a journey to understand what's truly happening in your world and the world around you. This is not about how you're living life on the surface. It's about what's truly driving you from under the covers. I'm going to take you on a journey to deeply uncover the reason why you are here, the ultimate purpose in your problems, and the way that they have shaped your life up until now. See, I believe you have a purpose, and your problems are the highway towards ultimate realization of that journey toward freedom and the reconnection of your true self. I've been told I have a different spin on most things, and I'll be giving you my understanding of life, love, and what we're all here for, purpose. To get the best out of this podcast, drop what you already know so you can discover what's beyond you. So join me, let's play this game of life and bring on liberation, transformation, and change. Let's do this.
Hi Jason, how are you today?
Very good, Philia. How are you?
I'm good too, thanks.
Welcome to Uncovered, and we are going to be focusing on the blame game today, which is basically us trying to conceal our own hurt, our internal based hurt, and projecting that onto someone or a situation that's happened, so we don't have to take responsibility for that internal pain.
And how does the world usually look at blame, or what happens when we...
Well, basically something happens, whether it's a past situation that's happened from our childhood, or we have an instance that triggers us, and then we look at someone else outside of us being the problem and the reason for our pain. Mm-hmm. And it's so much easier. I'd rather blame you, right? Wouldn't it be easier for me to blame you than me say it's like you deleted a meditation.
Yeah.
We have to do it again straight after this. Did I blame you?
No.
What did I do?
You just said, oh, we all make mistakes, we'll just do it again.
Yeah. Right? But what I could have done, we had this time wasted, what sort of job are you doing? That's how a boss is an idiot would do what they would do to put you down in your place. And I was just like, yeah, that's a mistake, we'll just do it again. Mm-hmm. Because the last thing I want to do is blame anybody, because I know internally I'm having to deal with this pain that's sitting inside that I don't want to project on anybody. Mm-hmm. Right? So what the world does is it uses the outside world as a battering ram. Mm-hmm. That's what we do if we're blaming. It's you who did this, it wasn't me. It was you, it was this situation, and because of this I can't do this. I remember I was having a session with this one lady when I was a healer, and probably about 2009, 2008, and she was talking about this scenario that had happened, and I was like, God, this is really tough. She's had a really tough life, and I was just like, this is big, like what she's gone through. And then at the end she said, now, and this is the reason why I can't do anything in this life, because of that past life. I was just like, you're kidding me. She was using a past life that we don't even know whether that's real, right? We have no idea. She was probably told by some hooky booky person that this had happened, and she was blaming a past life because she couldn't do what she wanted to do in this life. And that was it.
Wow. So really what we do is we put ourselves in the victim role, don't we? Yeah. Victimhood
and blame, they handshake together. And I know, you could be watching this right now and say, Jason, you're an ass, because I've had a really, really hard life. Right? Mm-hmm. And if you have, I humbly apologise if that's how you're feeling right now. What I want to hand to you, though, is, do you want to keep saying, because of that experience, that hard life, you don't get another choice to be something different? Because I don't want that for you. Mm-hmm. I would like you to be able to change that part of your life. Because I've had so many people come and see me, because of my past history, I can't have this, I can't have that, and I can't have this. And I've helped break the barriers down. Help change it so then they can actually have what they want. Remember one lady, her name's Meg. she said to me, I don't think I'm ever going to have a partner ever. It's never going to work for me, because she just created disaster zones everywhere she went. And at that moment, I knew she was going to create something nice, because she was she used to blame everybody. She used to blame me for if I said the wrong word. She was blaming me for everything. And we worked really diligently on the stuff that she had against men. Mm-hmm. And it was cool, because she's got this gorgeous, absolutely amazing man now in her life. But we had to get her to understand what she was blaming from the inside, the pain, the hurt and the sorrow and the dismay and the despair. So we had to go and spend time with all those emotions that she wasn't comfortable working with. And we found that those words are the greatest triggers to get people to blame something on the outside. Deep-seated pain. Mm-hmm. Okay? And when we can't be responsible for it, it's like pouring petrol on somebody else and lighting a match. Mm-hmm. It's your fault. And I've been the receiver of people blaming me a lot over the years, because one of the things about doing therapy or running an academy is projection is one of the easiest games that people can play. You said this, which has hurt my feelings, and now because of you, I feel this way. Mm-hmm. Now, my language is a little bit different. I feel this way, and this is the reason. So, as an example, let's say I was upset with you this morning, right? I feel disappointed because I feel like I have to do more work and you're putting the load on me, and I feel really disappointed it's all your fault. Or I feel really disappointed in the fact that I take way too much burden on. And this is the reason why I'm taking the burden on. It's just another thing that I have to do because I feel burdened by my own pressures that I put on myself. Mm-hmm. It's got nothing to do with you, how I'm feeling.
That's a very, very different language right there. Because you, like in the second approach, like I'm not even included in that.
That's right. I'm not included. You're not included. I'm not included. No, we're not included. No. But that's how it feels. It's just showing what I'm doing, and you just happen to be there as an instrument to my life. Mm-hmm. But that's a massive game-changing experience for the way the head thinks. The ego wants to blame. The higher nature actually wants to understand and grow, and it wants to take responsibility. So it wants to find out what the hell it's doing, rather than trying to project that someone else did something wrong to it.
Mm-hmm. And do you ever find yourself, I mean, of course you would, sometimes you would find yourself trying to blame others as well, or like you used to as well?
100%, and I still do, because it's easier. Yeah. Feels good. You got to admit
you don't need to be responsible.
Yeah, you got to admit it, guys. Like, when you get to blame someone, you get a little bit of an endorphin kick for that. And that's why people do it. They blame the government. We blame COVID. We blame anything that we can to give us a little bit of a endorphin kick. Mm-hmm. That's what it does, right? And I'm susceptible to that too. And then I'm quickly able to say, hey, no, pull your head in. That's not what this is about. What do you need to work on that you're actually internally not working with right now? Mm-hmm. But that's harder, isn't it? Because you have to have a deep, good look into the mirror.
So blame on and learning how to do it well is really about like taking a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, it is. And it's a matter of being able to look in the mirror and say, what are you creating right now? Mm-hmm. I got physically assaulted in my front yard a very, very long time ago by somebody. Now, the moment I got physically assaulted, I wasn't punched in the face or anything. I just did a fast for 2 weeks. And I was weak. And I got home, I said something to somebody, she had steel cap boots on, kicked me in the leg, and I was on the ground. So it wasn't like this major thing where I was beaten up by the way, so don't put a visual on that. But it really hurt. It was physical assault. It wasn't a major one like a lot of people get. Now, I'm lying on the ground in a lot of pain. My first thought was, what did I do to create this? And that's a very different way of thinking, isn't it? Mm-hmm. That your first thing I've done is I've taken responsibility for my creation of the moment. And then what I got to see was all the reasons why I needed to be physically hurt. Now, I'm not saying you need to be physically hurt, guys. Why I did. This is my story, not your story. Why I needed to be physically hurt to actually wake up and stop doing what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to stop doing what I was doing. I was constantly trying to remove myself away from conflict. And the moment I created conflict, that's the conflict I got.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But if I had have created conflict right from the beginning, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Right? I knew I was myself to blame for the situation that had happened. And I knew that I needed to start creating more conflict and be comfortable with conflict. So what do we do with conflict? It's a handshaker for blame, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? If we do conflict well, we get to have conversations and we get to meet in the middle and find out, well, what's really going on?
Mm-hmm.
And people don't do conflict well, especially in relationships of intimacy.
It's really hard.
It is. It's harder. That's the biggest place that we get to blame the other side of the fence. We say, oh, it's your fault because you do this. And we want our partner to probably be what we need to be, so then it fits us.
Yeah.
But
I did this morning.
yeah. So we want, you want Cody, I want Anya to be like me. It'd be much easier, right?
Yeah.
But we don't create someone like that.
How can you not see this?
Yeah, how can you not see how I see it?
Yeah.
So blame is an essential ingredient to start self-realising what we need to do to work with our pain in a very, very healthy way.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment we stop blaming, what I found people do is they go into shame.
Because they're ashamed of what they did.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they're ashamed of how they think too, and how they project,
Mm-hmm.
right? And or they go into anger, or they go into sadness. There's usually something underneath blame.
Yeah.
You know, that makes us have to go and meet something that is a little bit sticky. And that's why it's so cool to blame someone, because it's we feel better than the other person in that moment. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
We can turn our nose at that person because it's all their fault and it's not ours.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we've got to learn to do, and it's a very mature way of approaching, and it's hard because it means you have to figure out how to do one thing, which is blame yourself well. Now, there's a very important thing I'm talking about here. There are self-blamers that will be watching this. I know you're a bit of a self-blamer and I'm a self-blamer,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you have to blame yourself well by taking responsibility and understanding what it is that you've got to do to change, not beat yourself up. Mm-hmm. So self-blamers are self-annihilators, and I can put my hand up for being a self-annihilator, thinking, oh geez, you haven't done this, you haven't done that, you're not good enough at this, you're not good enough at that, making basically beating myself up consistently. So what I want you to think about, guys, is that if you're a self-blamer, you need someone to give you a bit of perspective as well and say, hey, it's really not that bad what you're doing and what you're up to.
And look at all the things that you've done, and not just the things that you haven't done, Yeah.
That's right. And that's what I do with self-blamers. So there are particular people in the academy, and you were one of them. You always thought you are in the academy, but you work for us now. You always thought you were going to be in trouble by me, right?
Yeah.
Because you're a self-blamer.
Mm-hmm.
And have you ever been in trouble by me?
No.
Because I know that you're so hard on yourself and you self-blame.
Mm-hmm.
So people don't understand, like, every self-blamer I treat like gold, simply because I know they're being so hard on themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So what you need to do is just gain a little bit of perspective, look at the things that you do well, and not be so perfectionist based on what the way that you think you need to be, because perfectionism and self-blaming are the handshakers as well. Okay.
Yep.
So please, guys, if you're a self-blamer, you're beautiful. You're a little bit of a perfectionist. You probably have a lot of deep care for people and accept yourself, right? So you've got to start thinking about, well, what are the things that you do that help other people, and how do you do it? Now, if you've got addiction-based issues and you're blaming yourself for making decisions that are not necessarily healthy for you, what we do is do more of those decisions. Oh, I ate that chocolate cake. I ate one slice, so I might as well have the whole cake. You know what I mean?
It's already fucked. So.
It's already screwed, so I blame myself, and then we can give ourselves what? Permission to continue doing what is not okay for us. So we've got to look at also those decision-making processes and see, well, if we're going to self-blame, we don't want to self-annihilate and go further and damage ourselves even further. So it's really important that we understand how to make a difference with our blame. So when I go into my internal-based blame, I just find something inside to work on, and then I lift it up and hold it and hold space for it, and I'll maybe go and get some help around what I'm doing that's creating the problem here. And if I can find something, I'll find the gold within the problem. And I think that's what we need to do with blame. We just need to know that it's there, it's pain, and it's important. And when we get to find out what its purpose is individually, we get to liberate it and find another way of living life.
Awesome. Well, I quite like that. It really changes the way you look at blame. Yeah, self-blame and blaming others, really.
Yeah, we do one or the other, and we've got to learn to. Even the self-blamers need to learn to be more responsible of the way that they're blaming themselves. It's irresponsible to hurt yourself, I think, right, all the time. You got to learn to be responsible about some kindness that you can give to yourself if you're a self-blamer. I'm just talking to myself right now. Give myself a good talking to.
Yeah. So what could you do for these kind of things?
Well, a way that if you're a self-blamer and you've got that kind nature, go and ask someone, well, what are the traits? Like, what are the things that you see in me that are good, Philia? Hopefully there's some.
Of course. So there's genuine care for people, and you always meet everyone where they're at. You're really accepting, and you're funny and adaptable, and you're just a really authentic person.
Thank you so much. And look, and then a self-blamer would usually not be able to breathe that in. You just got to breathe that in, those compliments, because they take a lot for me still to breathe in compliments. So I just, thank you is all you say. You don't dismiss, and then you breathe those in and just say thank you. So thank you, Philia, for offering that to me.
Pleasure.
And that's what you've got to do. When I look at you, I just think, kind, considerate, always make something better. You're always uplifting. You're in a place where you can see solutions. You're really creative, and you're really responsible in the way that you approach. And you're just one of those people that everyone who meets you just can't help but like. That's you. Breathe that in.
Thank you.
How'd you go?
Not too bad.
It was a little bit stretchy. You did it.
Where's my chocolate?
That's it. All right. So thank you so much, guys. If you like this podcast, I'd love you to like and share it if you can. If you want to give this to someone who's doing some blaming or self-blaming, and if you want to see it, it's www.wellnessbreakthroughacademypodcast.com. I'd love you to like and share it. Thank you so much for listening today, and thanks, Philia.
Thank you too, Jay.